You've been praying for a godly spouse. You've been fasting, journaling, declaring, waiting. And somewhere in the waiting, you started making a checklist. Saved, tall, employed, nice smile, loves God. And you handed that list to God, like an order form. But here's what nobody in church told you. God already gave you a selection process. Not a feeling, not a vibe, not a prophetic word from someone's aunt who dreamed about your wedding. A process, written down, tested across generations, proven in the lives of real people who failed and succeeded and left the record in Scripture. The Bible has 7 rules for choosing a spouse. Not suggestions, not ideals, rules. And most Christians have never heard a single sermon on any of them. So, if you're single and searching, or in a relationship and unsure, or you already made a choice and want to understand it better, stay here. Because what God said about this decision is more practical, more specific, and more honest than anything you've ever heard from a pulpit. The Bible mentions marriage over 500 times. God performed the first one in Genesis 2. Jesus attended one in John 2. Paul dedicated entire letters to it. This was not a side topic. This was not a footnote. God cared deeply about who you build your life with, and He left you instructions. Here are the 7 biblical rules for choosing a spouse that nobody preaches about. Rule 1. Character over charisma. Always. Proverbs 31:30. Charm is deceptive, and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. God didn't say beauty is bad. He said it's fleeting. It leaves. It fades. It changes with time and sickness and stress and age. But charm? God used the word deceptive. That means charm is designed to make you see something that isn't there. And yet most people choose a spouse the way they choose a movie, based on the trailer, the smile, the personality, the way they carry themselves in a room. And then they're shocked when the movie is nothing like what the trailer promised. Here's the question God is asking you. Who is this person when no one is watching? Who are they when they're tired, when they're broke, when they don't get what they want? Because that's who you're marrying. Not the version they show on dates. Not the version they perform at church. The version behind closed doors. Proverbs 20:11. Even small children are known by their actions. So is their conduct really pure and upright? Watch what they do, not what they say. Character is not declared. It's demonstrated. Rule 2. Do not be unequally yoked. This is not optional. 2 Corinthians 6:14. Do not be yoked together with unbelievers. For what do righteousness and wickedness have in common? Or what fellowship can light have with darkness? A yoke was a wooden bar that connected 2 animals to pull the same load. If one animal is pulling forward and the other is pulling sideways, nothing moves. Everything just spins in circles. That's what an unequally yoked relationship looks like from the outside. 2 people working hard, going nowhere. Now here's what people get wrong about this verse. They reduce it to saved versus unsaved. But the principle goes deeper. It's about direction. 2 people who both call themselves Christians but are heading in completely opposite directions are also unequally yoked. One is pursuing holiness. One is comfortable with compromise. One is building generational wealth. One is bleeding money. One is running toward God. One is standing still. You cannot build a life in 2 directions at the same time. Amos 3:3. Do 2 walk together unless they have agreed to do so? Agreement is not just theology. It's values. It's vision. It's the direction you're both heading every single day. Rule 3. Watch how they treat people who can do nothing for them. This one is not a direct verse, but it is a direct principle woven through the entire character of Scripture. Jesus summarized the law in 2 commands. Love God, love people. Matthew 22:30, 3:9. The person you marry will one day be your most vulnerable person. There will be seasons where you are sick, weak, struggling, broken, and in those seasons, you need to know the person beside you is capable of love that costs them something. So watch them, not on the date, not when they're trying to impress you. Watch them with the waiter who got the order wrong. Watch them with their family when things get tense. Watch them with people who have nothing to offer them. Watch them when they're stuck in traffic. Watch them when they lose. Proverbs 19:22. What a person desires is unfailing love. Everyone wants to be loved well, but not everyone is capable of loving well. The evidence is in the everyday moments they think don't matter. Those moments are the most important interview of your life. Pay attention. Rule 5. Examine the fruit, not just the faith. Matthew 7:16. Jesus said, "By their fruit you will recognize them, not by their confession." not by their church attendance, not by the scriptures they post online, by their fruit. Fruit takes time to appear. You don't plant a seed on Monday and harvest on Tuesday. This is why rushed relationships are spiritually dangerous. You cannot see fruit in 60 days. So what fruit are you looking for? Galatians 5:22-3. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. These are not personality traits. These are the overflow of a life genuinely connected to God. Is this person patient when they don't get their way? Are they kind when they're tired? Do they have self-control when they're attracted to something they shouldn't have? Are they faithful in small commitments, the ones no one is checking on? Because the person who is faithful in little will be faithful in much. Luke 16:10. And the person who is unreliable in small things will be unreliable in everything, including you. This is not about perfection. Nobody is without flaw, but there is a difference between a person who struggles and repents and grows, and a person who struggles, excuses, and repeats. One has fruit. One just has good seeds they never planted. Rule 6. Pay attention to what they do with money. This one makes people uncomfortable, but God talked about money more than almost any other topic in Scripture. And with good reason. Proverbs 21:5. The plans of the diligent lead to profit, as surely as haste leads to poverty. Money is not just about money. Money is a mirror. It reflects discipline. It reflects priorities. It reflects what a person actually values when no one is making them behave. Are they drowning in debt from choices they refuse to examine? Do they spend impulsively and call it living life? Do they have no savings, no plan, no awareness of where their money goes? Because here is the truth nobody wants to say at the altar. Financial incompatibility is one of the leading destroyers of Christian marriages. Not because money is everything, because how a person handles money reveals everything. Proverbs 27:23. Be sure you know the condition of your flocks. Give careful attention to your herds. Before the ring, before the date is set, before you combine your lives, have the real conversation, not the surface version, the real one. Debt, savings, spending habits, financial goals. If that conversation makes them defensive and closed, you just learned something critical. Pay attention. Luke 16:11. If you have not been trustworthy in handling worldly wealth, who will trust you with true riches? The way they handle money is the way they will handle responsibility. The way they handle responsibility is the way they will handle a family. Rule 7. Marriage is a covenant, not a contract. Make sure they understand the difference. This is the final rule, and it is the one that holds all the others together. Malachi 2:14. The Lord is the witness between you and the wife of your youth. You have been unfaithful to her, though she is your partner, the wife of your marriage covenant. A contract is between two people. A covenant is between two people and God. The contract says, I will do my part as long as you do yours. The covenant says, I will do my part because I made a promise before God. A contract has exit clauses. A covenant has commitment that does not depend on circumstances. This is why Jesus said in Matthew 19:6, what God has joined together, let no one separate. The question you need answered before you marry someone is not just, do they love me? The question is, do they understand what they are agreeing to? Do they see this as a lifelong covenant before God? Or do they see it as a relationship that works until it stops working? Because that answer will determine everything. In the hard seasons, in the dry seasons, in the seasons where love feels more like a decision than a feeling. The person who understands covenant stays. The person who signed a contract starts looking for the exit. Genesis 2:24. That is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife, and they become one flesh. One flesh. Not two people living in the same house. One flesh, one unit, one direction, one covenant. That is the standard God set in the very first marriage he ever designed. And it has not changed. Now let me say something directly to you. If you read through these 7 rules and felt the weight of a decision you already made, this is not a condemnation. God is not in heaven marking your mistakes. He is the God who redeems, who restores, who works in the middle of imperfect situations when you bring them to him honestly. And if you're still waiting, still searching, still wondering if this person is the one, let these rules be your filter. Not a checklist you hand someone on the first date. A filter. A standard rooted not in your preferences, but in Scripture. Because here is the truth, nobody says loud enough. The most important decision you will ever make after choosing Christ is choosing your spouse. Not your career, not your city, not your financial strategy, your spouse. Because that one decision will shape every other decision for the rest of your life. God did not leave you without a guide for it. He left you 7 rules, written down, tested across generations, waiting for you to find them. You just found them. Now use them. If this opened your eyes to something you needed to hear, share this video with someone who is in the middle of this decision right now. They need this more than you know. Like this video so more believers who are searching for real answers can find it. And subscribe to Bible Blade, because we are not here to tell you what feels good. We are here to hand you the truth that actually works. The blueprint was never hidden. You just hadn't turned to that page yet. Turn it now.